it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown.
Welcome to Tailgate TV. I'm Brad Davis along with Cody Morris. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Bates County sports and outdoors with local guests.
Yeah, and Brad, I'm really excited to do this. Excited to have a podcast like this here in Bates County where we can sit and have some of these discussions, and hopefully people enjoy this and they get something from it. And of course, if anybody watching wants to be a part of this show, you definitely can.
Absolutely.
Reach out to us, find us on Facebook, reach out, and whether you want to be a part of the show here sitting and talking with us, or if you want to sponsor this show and help make it happen, we need you as well. So reach out to us if you want to be involved in what we're doing here. And when you find us on Facebook, also look us up on YouTube, and we'll be putting some of our videos out there as well.
Absolutely. We'd like to thank our sponsors, CNS Graphics, Sonic, and Mid-America Live. We appreciate that support in helping us bring some of this fun stuff to you.
Absolutely. We're glad that they're on board with making this
Absolutely.
happen. And today's show, we have a really good lineup for you, we feel like. And I guess we're calling it the M Show. We got Mandy, Matt, and Major. Mandy Adams, Matt Cunningham, and Major Black are all going to come in and sit down and have some conversations with us. So we're excited about that.
Absolutely. And we hope you enjoy the show. For Cody Morris, I'm Brad Davis. Thank you for joining us here on Tailgate TV.
We're so happy here on Tailgate TV to have a good friend of the show and the best barber in Bates County, Matt Cunningham.
Voted on by the people.
Voted on by the people. This is not a title that we've given him.
or he's given himself. The people have spoken.
The people have spoken.
And they were heard.
And I thank you all so very much.
Right.
But no, Matt's going to come and he's going to talk some Adrian with us, some Adrian sports and just some happenings around there. And we're really glad to have you here to talk with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But we'll jump straight in. And I saw the other day that Adrian Golf is partnering with Butler. I didn't know if is that a thing that they've done before? Do you know?
I believe this is the first season for that.
The first season for that?
Now, years ago, we used to partner with Archie.
Okay.
When they had a golf team.
Okay.
And we actually had some good golfers play up there with Archie. Jesse Graham was one that did pretty well up there. But they got rid of their golf program after they lost all their kids, and so we dropped out of it. So
have they ever had their own golf program?
No.
Okay, so they've always partnered with somebody.
Right.
Now, but speaking of that, I did see Aiden Lauberger. He won the conference tournament.
He did. He did. I to be honest with you guys, did not know that he was that good at golf. Now, his older brother that graduated he's the youngest. Aiden's the youngest. Then there's Logan. Then there's Colin. And then there's Nathan. Nathan's the oldest. Not Logan, but Colin started picking up golf a couple years ago and took to it like a fish to water. And so evidently Aiden's got it in him too. But that's a basketball family mostly. The older two played college basketball, and their dad played some, and he's also a local referee around here.
So an athletic family too.
Very athletic. Yeah, and musical too.
Wow.
They play some musical instruments.
Wow,
that's talented.
That is talented. And taking to golf like a fish to water, as you said, that's not easy.
No.
Golf is the opposite of everything you've ever been taught.
Sidebar here, I got a classmate of mine that you may know, Matt Kendrick, and his dad, Monty. I don't know if they'll see this or not, so I'm going to brag them up a little bit, but they're kind of like that.
Really?
They took to golf like a fish to water.
Wow.
Hardly any lessons, except for later on in life.
Right.
Tweak a few things.
Right.
Just could hit the ball straight and far first time they swung the club.
Wow.
Absolutely makes me mad.
I was going to say, love those kind of people.
Brad can attest I'm not one of those people. He was with me the first time I tried to pick up golf. But keeping on the subject of things that I'm not good at, I saw the track team did pretty well.
Yes.
I saw the Adrian track team. I think the senior high boys and the junior high girls both won their conference.
They both won their conference. And really the varsity girls aren't terrible.
Okay.
It's just that Appleton City is stacked at the girls track team.
Well, I
They got
hear
a lot
that.
of speed down there.
I hear that WeMo Conference is one of the best track conferences kind of in the state.
I believe that. I don't know that to be a fact, but I wouldn't doubt it in any shape or form because really, for years, the Western Missouri Conference has been pretty competitive with itself.
Yeah.
You go back and you look at all the sports, and there's usually a team out of that conference that represents a conference somewhere deep in the playoffs in just about any sport. Most years. Not every year, obviously.
Of course, sure.
But most years. And many of them have won state titles in different sports, too.
Sure,
Or gone to the Final Four.
Right. Well, I know, Midway obviously was so good in so many sports
Yeah.
for so many years.
Yeah.
Obviously, Adrian
Yeah,
is so good in so
sure.
many sports so many years. And, that expansion that the WeMo did a few years ago, and again, I say a few years, I've slept since then, so it might be 10 years from now. I don't know. But that expansion, boy, bringing in, and they brought in some really quality teams into the conference.
And, Brad, I don't know if you knew this, but they were originally a part of the conference back in the day.
Right.
And then they left
Years
the
ago.
conference.
Correct.
And the little schools down south joined their own conference. It didn't work out, and then they brought them back into the WeMo.
Yeah, which is...
So the only team that didn't come back was the Lockwood Tigers.
Okay. And Lockwood, that's a
They've had a lot of good teams. It's amazing how many good athletes have come out of this conference.
Right, it really
And they're a
is.
small 1A conference.
Right. Well, and again, good competition.
Yeah.
Boy, it helps that.
Good coaching,
tremendously. Absolutely.
good athletic directors.
Yes.
And they've all kind of been, the competition between Adrian and Midway started when an Adrian kid went up there to start coaching football.
Right. Yeah.
And then you have Coach Bruto grows up in Butler
Right.
and comes to Adrian.
Right,
And now
exactly.
you got that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's terrific, right? I mean, it really is
fun.
It is.
People are related to each other. People go to church with each other.
Sure.
They go to different schools. So
Right. Well, it's great.
It makes it
it's
fun.
it's a great experience, and it's really fun to be in an area. For me, it's really fun to be in an area that really promotes and really thrives on that healthy competition and sports. I think sports at all levels is so good for kids growing up. That teaches them how to lose, right? And sometimes you need to learn that, right? Because if you don't ever know how to pick yourself back up and go again, then life's harder.
I think our goal in life as adults should be to win every day in what
Absolutely.
we do. But we're not going to win every day,
That's right.
right? And so we need to learn how to deal with that. And what a better way to do it than with sports when you're growing up.
That's right. Absolutely right. But speaking of a team that doesn't lose a whole lot, but the softball team currently, and again, we've went through this trying to find some
The most
updated
accurate,
scores and things like that, and sometimes that can be a little bit difficult. 14-9 on the year,
Yeah.
maybe not having the year that Adrian's had in the past. I believe that they won over 20 games last year, which obviously is really good, but only 2 seniors on the roster for the Lady Blackhawks, which at 14-9, only having 2 seniors, you can look forward to a lot of...
Well, and to be honest with you guys, not what you would call state championship level of pitching either. The
Sure.
pitching has been very good.
Very good.
Good enough to keep you in the games and give your offense plenty of opportunity to get in there and stay competitive. But Elise Evans is by far one of the funnest female athletes to come around.
Now she played basketball as well.
Well, and she did. And I don't want to take anything away from our stud Jenna Shipley that
Sure.
played just a few years ago.
Sure.
That broke all the scoring records at Adrian, and had state championship track and all that.
Phenomenal.
Who knows what would have happened if 2020 hadn't got shut down with COVID because those kids were seniors that year.
Right.
But she's been very successful down at Pitt State in college. I'm not taking anything away from her sister or the Moles girl or the Reed girl or anybody that's been around here, but Elise Evans is just fun to watch because she plays almost like a boy, but with a lot of energy, positive energy. She's a very good Christian girl. She comes from a great family, and she is just a lot of fun to watch. Tia Thompson comes from a great family, and she's had her ups and downs. Her dad will be the first one to tell you that she's not been as consistent as she would like, but she has really proved herself as a senior this year on that softball team, and I don't have any stats for her right now, but not to get off subject, but as you all know, I do the Adrian Sports Network for them through our Prepcast.
I had no idea.
Right? So spring sports are hard for me to get to.
Oh boy.
And they start so early in the day. So I've done a terrible job of keeping up with baseball and softball, but I keep up with the coaches. I talk to them on a fairly regular basis. I haven't got to talk to Lacey Cook, the coach of the softball team, much here recently. But when everybody sees this, they're already going to be through the district play. But I really think that their success this year, really, guys, has been centered around their leadership, which is always the case. Mm-hmm. Every now and then you have a freshman or a sophomore stud that just stands out.
Sure.
But they don't really lead the team emotionally.
Right.
Elise Evans and Tia Thompson are great emotional leaders, and they lead by great example too. They're really good kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to have that. You have to have that. In any sport.
And it's contagious when you have that as seniors.
Absolutely. Absolutely is. Speaking of that, I was following some Division I softball, and there was a coach that was talking about that she went to a high school game to recruit this young lady, and they were terrible. I don't know that they won a game all year, but this girl was just the leader. She was energetic. She was always talking to her teammates.
Yeah.
She recruited her and offered her a scholarship that night, and they lost. I don't even think they scored, but she was talking about it. She goes, because you could see that those girls were just gravitating toward her because of the uplifting feeling that and she was the pitcher.
Yeah. And,
when you're a pitcher, right, and then you have people behind you maybe causing errors, it's difficult, but she was staying in there. So that's so important.
Especially high school sports. I mean, you kind of see that in college. It kind of fades a little bit out in professional sports, even though I think your most competitive and most successful professional sports have those on their teams.
Absolutely.
Right? But it's like life too, guys. I mean, there's so many analogies and parallels between life and sports. If you can work around somebody that is positive energy, that keeps everybody lifted up, it's easier to go to work. It's easier to get through the day and get through the grind because, man, life can kick you hard, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm really proud of the community that we have up at Adrian, the spirit. I know it's probably not as respected from the surrounding communities, but it really is true that the Blackhawk pride means more than just winning.
Sure.
It means
it's a culture.
It's a culture, a lifting up. I got your back. Let's go do this, win or lose. We're going to win or lose as a team.
Sure.
So.
Well, and that's how you build cultures.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's not taking anything away from the neighboring communities.
No. Well, hey, all you can do is talk about where you're from, right?
That's what I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
And it trickles down, guys. When you have Adrian graduates that understand that, and then they get into the community, they become business owners, they become, elected officials, whatever the case may be, or come back as teachers or whatever in the community, or they just go to work in Kansas City and live in Adrian and then continue with their kids growing up and stuff like that. It continues to build that up.
It's a culture and a tradition.
It is. It's both.
They intertwine.
And that's why you can weather the bad seasons when they do come around for high school sports.
They're gonna.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I've never seen a high school that's never had a bad season. I mean, they come around.
They do come around.
Maybe Web City, but other than that,
Lamar.
yeah, they're good. Their bad season, losing in the finals.
Dang it, man.
Yeah,
Second place.
yeah. Donor.
So moving off of softball,
Uh-huh.
back into baseball.
Yep.
They're pretty similar situation. It looks like. I think they're sitting around 15-7.
Yeah.
Now they're going into district play here in this next week or so,
Right.
and they're going to be seeded number 2 in district.
Yes, with the first round bye.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you know anything about them?
Well, Coach Jacob Weeks is an Adrian alum, and I also want to send a shout out to Jacob's older brother Ethan, who's just graduated from medical school.
Oh, great.
To be a doctor.
Congratulations. That's
So,
awesome.
good for him.
Absolutely.
But he's done a great job with the team. His assistant coach is Taya's dad, Taya
Okay.
Thompson's dad,
Okay.
Kenny
Awesome.
Thompson. He had the travel team, the Red Devils, for a long time that come out of Adrian.
Right.
So they have had really good success, again, with not what you would call state championship caliber type of pitching.
Well-
They've got good quality pitching with Bryce Shalufas and the Ford brothers, Bryce and Brock Ford, and then there's a couple other kids that step in there and help out on the mound from time to time. They are just solid fundamentally.
Well, that's what impressed me. I think I've caught one Red Tail game, and it was when Red Tail came and played Butler. And what struck me is they didn't do necessarily anything super good, but they didn't make errors. I don't remember them making one error the entire game. They did what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a 2-1 win. I mean, it was a close game, but
Yeah.
they were able to get the
Right.
win because they didn't make mistakes.
Right. They remind me, I know this is going to sound stupid, but for me, watching them, and I've got to watch them a few times this year, and I keep in contact with them through the barbershop and whatnot.
Sure.
They remind me of the 14-15 Royals.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't hit a lot of home runs, if you remember. The Royals
Right,
didn't.
right.
They played small ball.
Right.
I mean, you got a lot of great athletes that could hit a long way, and they could overpower teams if the chance was given to them, but
Sure.
they didn't, right?
Right.
You guys remember those years?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, but they had great pitching.
Sure. They did.
And that's what you got to have getting deep in the playoffs for baseball,
That's right.
because you can't pitch count,
Oh.
stay over with 24 hours, 48 hours.
Well, we were just talking about that. That pitch count, especially for smaller schools like what we have
It's
predominantly
tough.
in our area, it makes baseball so much
I
harder.
guarantee you, your small class schools that win the state championship in baseball have at least 2 pitchers that are just phenomenal.
You have to
Right.
with
You
the pitch
have to.
count.
Yeah.
So if you got 3 or 4 that are pretty decent, let's say B's to B pluses instead of A pluses,
Right.
given the right team and the good defense that day behind them,
Right.
error-free ball,
Absolutely.
you can go deep.
Yep.
But
And that's what, we always,
it's all got to click at the same time.
you always talk about pitch to contact, but then you have to, like you say, you have to trust that. And that's what I saw the one game that we watched from Adrian was the pitching wasn't fantastic, but they threw strikes.
Right.
And their fielders did what they just did what they were
Yeah.
supposed to do.
They don't walk a lot of people.
No.
The pitchers are solid. They throw decent. They got enough movement to keep the batters off balance. If you're going to face a whole, and you're not in small class,
That's right.
9 kids in that lineup that can smack the ball every time
Right,
they get
sure.
up, then you're going to have trouble with that. And who knows what shows up in the districts, but I think most of these teams we're going to be pretty comfortable with. We've seen them, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of know what they're getting into, and
Right.
and it should be pretty good competition in the districts.
Well, and that's really what, and I understand that's obviously what the playoffs are for, but that's what's fun about it right this time of year, and it doesn't matter what level you're at.
Right.
Seeing that next competition, can we rise
Yeah,
up?
yeah,
right,
absolutely.
and play? That's the great fun about it.
Right. And Adrian Baseball's had some good success over the last few years,
Oh, yeah,
even with
absolutely.
the prior coach, Caleb Nolan.
Right.
He did a pretty decent job of getting the guys deep a couple of different years.
Right.
My oldest son was a part of one of those teams and
Right.
had pretty good. And they pitched contact and go to the opposite
He was a pretty
field.
good focus softball player too.
He played.
I've seen that. I've witnessed that myself.
Yeah. So a little chip off the old block, I guess. If I had to say I was good at anything in high school, it was probably baseball. But more like playing the drums and chasing girls.
Well, hey.
And I wasn't very successful.
So,
Anyways,
well, Matt, what else is going on up there at Adrian this time of year?
well,
Getting ready for it.
you know, Adrian's always got some cool things going on. The Chamber of Commerce usually has some get-togethers. They have a car show. They have an event out there at the Village where they also have the steam and gas-powered engine show, which will be June 23rd to 25th. I don't know exactly the dates of the other ones, but you can find all that stuff on our website, our cityofadrianmo.org or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
Google it. We're on a Facebook page, all that.
Or we'll put the link at the bottom.
Or we'll put the link at the bottom. But a lot of our dates and stuff's going on. We got a great park, and it gets used a lot. You know, our Lions Club has the concession stands out there for the ball games. The Adrian Optimist Club has donated the rodeo arenas, and they have a lot of events that goes on out there. And they got a car show.
And they do
of course,
bingo.
their 4th of July celebration out there, which will be on the 3rd this year.
Okay.
Where we have a parade, and then we go out to the park and have all kinds of games and bingo on the 3rd of July out there in shelter houses. There's always something going on.
Went to the fireworks show last year. Very impressed. It was
It
really
was
nice.
really good.
Yeah, it was really
You know, I tell you what, it's always hard for some people to see 20 minutes of $8,000 go up in smoke.
good. Sure.
Right?
Right.
You're like, we could do something else with that kind of money.
Sure.
But at the same time, it brings the community together.
It does.
And if it's
It
hard to put a price tag on
It's
it.
priceless, right?
It is.
Seriously.
It is.
And
It is. It's, you know, it's not D&D fireworks show.
Well, right.
You know, it's not a Kansas City fireworks show.
Right.
But for a small town, it does pretty good. I broadcast some patriotic music over a local FM station
awesome.
on a closed
Right.
radio network. I don't remember what channel it is right now, but
It's all right.
we do that. We have Cosmic usually that night. Cosmic Bingo.
Right.
I don't know if we will this year or not, guys. But our regular bingo on Monday night at the Optimist Club is well attended. Well attended. And they usually have some big payouts every so often when the jackpot rises and whatnot. The community does a really good job. The Lions Club does a great job. The Optimist Club does a great job. The churches do things. You know, we have a big event for Halloween. You know, we have a big downtown thing that the businesses do. And then our church, Victory Assembly of God, has a big event out there after they're done on Main Street on Halloween.
Awesome.
There's always something going on.
The only complaint I have against Adrian, and
Okay.
maybe you can help fix this.
Okay.
They need to put more fish in their lake down there.
Yeah.
Because we went the other day, and I tell you, I think Brad, you caught one or two, and I got skunked.
Now, you guys talking about the bottom lake or the back top lake?
Back top.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
go there. You won't catch any fish. Go
No.
ahead.
As mayor, I would like to extend my apologies for anybody that's not catching fish out there, but
Just make it happen. Just
I will say probably a more well-rounded fisherman could probably catch more fish out there because they're in there.
We went out there one day and there were white caps. It was blowing some hard, and I was like, oh my goodness.
It's up on the hill, no trees.
It was a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, you throw your lure over there and actually lands up over there.
In my cap. Right. Throw down. That's a little fishing tip for you here. On,
So I get TV sports and outdoors.
That's right. Absolutely.
We got a fun little ending segment here.
Okay.
So we're going to ask you some questions. It's over under segment.
Over
So
under.
I'm going to give you a category number. You tell me if the correct answer is over or under that.
Okay.
So how many Sonics are in Missouri? Over or under 200?
Over.
Under. There's 182 Sonics
That's
in
a
Missouri.
trick question.
Do you know who has the most Sonics?
Probably Homestead.
Probably.
The state with the lowest.
But no, Missouri actually has the number 2. Arkansas has the most Sonics, and then Missouri has number 2.
Is that right?
That's right.
Thanks to
I was
Homestead.
surprised. It's really going to be
He's still
true.
working on it. Yeah.
Here's one. The average men's haircut in Missouri, over under $25.
Over.
34.
Yeah, I know that.
We thought you might think we'd up prices after that. Here's the Adrian question for you.
Yep.
How many consecutive batters did Garrett Hester strike out in 2019 for Adrian? Over or under 10?
Over.
15.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It really is
15 batters in a row.
Right. I need to contact him and find out where he's at, what's going on, because I was actually talking to him on a regular basis when he had to come back for COVID.
Oh, I see.
We was golfing together and stuff.
Right.
The kid's a really great kid.
Well, I say, and that 15 consecutive batters in a row, that's
Guys, I don't know this for a fact, but I want to say that he had at least one complete game shutout, and he had 2 more going, and they got blown in the 7th inning.
Oh, that's a shame.
I think so.
That's impressive, though.
Last one.
Yep.
As mayor, you should know this.
Okay.
How many counties are in Missouri? Over or under 99?
Over.
How many?
118.
114.
Dang it.
Still, did you got it right? It wasn't specific. It was over.
Yeah, you got the right answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to thank Matt Cunningham for being here on Tailgate TV.
CNS Graphics is happy to once again be serving Butler and surrounding areas. We are back and ready to serve you. We specialize in poster-worthy sport edits, but can help assist you in any of your graphic design needs. Find us on Facebook today, or call or text Cody at 479-385-1120 and let us create a custom graphic that you can cherish for a lifetime. And remember, your graphics deserve to be cool and stylish.
Here at Tailgate TV today, we have a very special guest in the building, Coach Mandy Adams, who is the head softball coach for the Butler Lady Bears. And they're making some major improvements this year. And we're just really excited to have a conversation with you today, Mandy.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. We want to start just by asking you a little bit about your background. So you played here in Butler, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. I did. I played on the very first softball team that they had here at Butler High School back in 96 maybe, I think is 95 is when we started it. And so I got to play my sophomore, junior, and senior seasons in the inaugural, I guess, program here at Butler High School. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Holds almost every record, if not every record at Butler High School in pitching, by the way, still hold those records.
Well, thank you.
Well,
I've heard those.
And that's even more, if you started off with the record, no one's taken it yet. That's
pretty impressive.
Yeah. So when, I guess, transitioning from high school, what was kind of your softball career? What did it look like? What road did you go down?
Well, following high school, for a number of seasons during high school as well, I played competitive ball in Kansas City, and I also was able to secure a scholarship at a junior college in North Kansas City at Maple Woods, where I got my Associate of Arts, and I also was able to pitch and play shortstop there for a couple of years, and got my schooling paid for. So anyway, after that I finished up my degree at UCM, and I came back and taught for a couple of years here at Butler, coached softball, I think maybe doing the 03, 04, 04, 05 seasons as well before leaving and going to Nevada.
Well, that was you answered or led into the next question, talk about kind of your coaching pedigree. I mean, you said you came back here and coached a little bit, and then did you always kind of have an urge to coach, or and where did coaching take you, and kind of what was your role like getting back here to coaching?
Okay. Well, yes, I knew that when I had gone off to school and stuff like that I wanted to coach. Even during some of the summer rec programs and stuff like that while I was in college, I took the high school girls and coached them during that time period as well. And anyway, caught the coaching bug early, you might say. And so when I got out of college, it was kind of a natural progression to come in and take over the high school team. And so we had a lot of success here, but one of the girls, our assistant coaches that I worked with, Brandy Thompson, was actually my assistant here at Butler. She took a job down at Nevada, and she asked for me to come down there and be her assistant. And so we coached, I think, between 05 and 08, the Nevada Lady Tigers down there. Moved to Oklahoma, coached in Winoka, the Lady Railroaders, for a couple of years, and did a bunch of kind of moving around after that. So I get kind of pitching lessons and that kind of thing on the side for a number of years, and moved back to Butler about 6 years ago perhaps, and been at Harrisonville, and had people asking me to get back in coaching, wanted to get back in coaching. I had a young kid, and he needed to be at home and that kind of thing. But the road led me back here a couple of years ago, and my folks are here, and they can help me out with the little guy, and that kind of frees me up to be with the high school team even more. So it's been great coming back home and trying to get the ship righted here with the softball program, and the kids have been working hard, and I think we're starting to see some real improvement.
Yeah, and I think we're glad to have you back here. I think that
Tremendous.
I think that, well, that's what we're going to talk about here in a second, but I think that you have made tremendous strides with the program the last couple of years you've been here.
Yeah, I really, the eye test, which is, in baseball sometimes so much more important than even wins and losses at times. You can see rapid improvement by all of the ladies on the softball team. What really maybe surprised you at maybe the one thing that surprised you that you needed to improve on the most here when you got to Butler?
I feel like when I came to Butler, I feel like we had a number of talented athletes, you know what I'm saying, like on the team. The girls will kind of laugh because they hear me say it all the time, like, I man for man or girl for girl, so to speak.
Sure.
I put them up against almost anybody we play anytime. I think the biggest thing that we've had to kind of focus on is, being able to come together and play as a team. I think bolstering our softball IQ and knowing how to play the game, that kind of stuff has been key to a number of the improvements that we've been able to make over the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, you can really see that that IQ, situational things that I've seen just by watching the few games that I've been able to watch. And I know, and again, coaching comes down to wins and losses. You won more games this year than you did the previous 2 years combined, so that's impressive. And that shows that improvement, I think, throughout. Offensively, over 7 runs a game, that's a big improvements from what they've done in the past, even though obviously you being a great pitcher and then, maybe that side of it, but boy, improving offense has been a super thing.
That's been a key, I think, getting us through a number of our games in terms of our wins, that kind of thing. I've kind of taken and kind of reorganized practice, especially the first half of it. This year where we're able to kind of break down our skills defensively a little bit more and also create some more individual time for hitting and seeing live pitching and front toss and that kind of thing in the cage. And I think that's translated to some of the success that we've been able to see in the games.
Awesome.
And throughout the lineup, we were talking a little bit, you have a lot of girls who are hitting the ball well this year. I mean, from your one batter to your non-batter, you got a lot of girls that are producing, and it's fun to watch. But transitioning from that kind of to the pitching, you've got some really good pitching this year, and it looks like you have some really good young pitching. I think freshman and sophomore, are those your 2 pitchers?
Yes, they are.
Hudson and Eldred? And then coming up next year, it looks like you have some talented 8th graders that are going to be coming up. You talk a little bit about the pitching and what we can be excited for?
Yeah, sure. It's really been nice, kind of a luxury, if you will, to be able to have 2 pitchers this year. We've got our freshman, Taylor Hudson, and she has came to us with a lot of travel ball experience and that kind of thing. And she's just an athlete. She wants to compete. She's very intense, those kinds of things. And just the kind of improvement we've seen in her over the course of the season. I think she came in at the beginning. Her and I've discussed it. The walks were a lot higher actually than I want to see, and higher than what she expects of herself too. That kind of thing. And she ended up being out for a couple of weeks with an injury and that kind of thing. And Avery Eldred was able to step up for us in that couple of weeks span, and just really impressed with how well she was spinning and locating the ball. I think too, where we're really fortunate is that they kind of complement each other very well.
Well, that's what I kind of observed too. That they're 2 different styles of pitchers. I mean, and it's a good change of pace too in the game.
Absolutely, Avery's very accurate. She's very good at spinning the ball. that kind of thing, and locating her pitches, that kind of thing. And Taylor is more of she's a power pitcher. She's very aggressive when she comes off of the mound and likes to deliver, the high, hard heat, that kind of thing. And she gets,
does it well.
and she does it well, and she gets a number of strikeouts because of that. So Avery, when she comes into the game, her talent is being able to, like roll us some ground balls, get us some pop flies, that kind of thing, which kind of helps to keep her pitch count down. And like I said, they're an excellent duo, and I think that we're best when we're able to use them together in ball games.
Absolutely.
And you all commented that kind of the different styles of pitches they are fun to watch, because you can see how different techniques of pitching can both be successful. It's really enjoyable to watch those young ladies.
Well, and it's kind of fun to watch too the opposing team once they start to kind of get the timing down of one of them,
Right.
and then you switch it up, and they kind of are froze up for that first 1 or 2 innings. So it's a nice luxury to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that really is the beauty of being able to have a true staff, as opposed to just one dominant ace that you're trying to hurl all of the time. I also talk to the girls quite a bit during pitching and in our workouts and stuff like that, to be true to who they are. I think a lot of times when you see somebody come in and throw, the power that Taylor does, it's easy to want to be like, oh, well, what coach wants is for me to throw hard,
Right.
And who doesn't want to be able to pick up a few mile an hour here and there, that kind of thing, but also owning what your power and what your skill is too, which may be, in creating that movement. And Avery and I have had some conversations about that, and, like you do you type deal,
Right. So important to play within yourself, do those things. Absolutely. One of the things I really enjoy, because I see the stuff on Facebook that you post and that kind of thing, and part of baseball, softball, those sports is really enjoying being out there, enjoying being with your teammates, with your coaches. The thing that I've loved the most that I've seen you implement this year is the player awards at the end of the games, the chains and that kind of thing. Kind of what brought you to that, and where do those things, what do you hope to gain by doing those kind of things?
Well, actually, I got the idea. One of my college teammates from Maple Woods is the head coach at Baker.
Okay.
At the NAIA level, we actually went and watched them play University of Central Methodist a few weeks ago. As we take a lot of team building field trips.
It's a great thing
we
to
try
do.
to incorporate like fun Fridays. We do kind of some silly stuff in practice and that kind of thing, but. Just trying to keep the game fun for the kids and keep them engaged. But the post-game jewelry idea came from something that I'd seen on one of Baker's pages in terms of kind of recognition for in-game performance. A lot of times kids can perform and do the things you want them to do in practice, but you add the pressure of being, in a live game situation. We want practices to be able to translate to in-game as well. So, wanted to be able to recognize some kids that were doing the things that we wanted them to do, and kind of hoping to build, team culture by making those awards and kind of some friendly competition, among the players. And we have 2 awards. The first one's our offensive award. It's a bombs and bases award. So what we're looking at statistically there when we award those is going to be, their number of hits in a game. They get points awarded for singles, 2 points for doubles, 3 points for triples, 4 points for a home run. And then we're also looking at RBIs, stolen bases, all of the things you want to promote in terms of your team. We kind of do a calculation on all of that, and we award the bombs and bases award based on those numbers. The defensive award is a Web Gem Warrior award, and we're just really looking for somebody that's really flashing, the leather out there the way that we want them to, and making contributions in terms of trying to get us off the field as quickly as we can. The more times we can spend swinging the bat, translate, and we can not be out there on the dirt trying to make outs and that kind of thing, usually translates into more success for our team. So.
Well, and one of the things, the pictures, the girls just look like they're having a blast. Not only being silly, but they're you can tell that they're proud that they did something to help the team win or be successful, and by wearing those. I think it's a great idea.
And you can just tell they're enjoying it. And
Yes.
and enjoying the game is, that's key. If you're not having fun, you're not going to go out there and play well.
That's
And
for
so
sure.
to have fun and want to go out there and perform well, it's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of hit on it, but we're going to talk to you a little bit about the fun days. I mean, we see some of the, we follow the Facebook page. We see some of the activities they're doing out there. I mean, that's just something that keep the girls entertained. Or I mean, what's kind of the background on that?
Kind of the background on the fun days too is, and sometimes we do have to do more skill practice on a Friday than like an entire fun day. But again, just kind of keeping team building, keeping it fun, keeping it light. I think a lot of times too, when we came up short on games and stuff like that, rather than kind of continuing to grind on some things, kind of over and over, the stress level and the tension, you can kind of feel it, among the team and more than anything, like we talk about it all the time, that everybody's softball journey is different, and kids don't do things that they don't think are fun, that they're not having a good time with, that kind of thing. So, just kind of trying to, build that in where, I think probably as much as anything, when you think about, 10, 15 years from now, what are some of the things that they will remember? They're probably not going to remember all of the batting drills that Coach had them out there doing, but I think that they will remember, those moments we took some time out to have some fun, with our team. And so I think it just, again, building that team culture piece and camaraderie between the girls, like I said, I just feel like it brings them closer together.
Well, I think you just hit on something, building team culture, and I think that's what you're doing. And I think that's part of the reason the program is kind of trending in the right direction, is you're building something there that the girls are having fun doing. And not only are they having fun, but they're learning how to be successful and have fun at the same time. And I think it's a great thing that you're doing out there. We have a fun ending segment for you.
Okay.
We're going to ask you some questions.
Oh.
And it is a bench, start, cut.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 3 things. You have to tell me what you want to bench, start, and cut.
Okay.
Grass, turf, or dirt.
So in terms of
So like, which one are you starting? Which
Okay.
one are you benching? And which one are you cutting?
Okay. So tell me the 3 things again.
Grass, dirt, turf.
Okay, I'm gonna cut the grass.
Okay.
I'm going to start the turf.
Okay.
And I cut the dirt.
Okay.
I like
And
it.
if you've been out to our field, you know I cut the
Yeah,
dirt.
oh
It's always
boy.
blowing out there.
Yeah, I think we still
Depending on us,
Yes.
we're still picking dirt up
Yeah.
the seats.
Here's a pitcher question for you.
Okay.
Fastball, curveball, changeup.
Oh, let's see. I'd like to bench the fastball because I like the movement stuff.
Okay.
And so I would, don't get me wrong, it's a setup pitch for sure, but I like to start the changeup. I think I like that. And what was the bench start?
Bench the curveball.
Oh man, I hate to cut the curveball. Can I start it too? I don't know. Cut the change and start the curveball.
Okay.
I like the movement stuff. I think it's just more deceptive. So the
Absolutely.
off-speed, though, disrupts timing. So anyway, so it's a tough call there.
Well, spoken as a true pitcher, right?
Right.
Because most people would not term the fastball as a setup pitch, but it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Here's a harder one. Double play, home run, strikeout.
I'd like to bench the strikeouts, right? Like if we're speaking of
Right.
like as an offensive team.
Right?
But I'm going to. I'd probably cut the home runs, and I want to. Was it start the double plays?
Start the double play?
Yeah.
I
I'd
like
like to
it.
see. I'd like to see a lot more of that.
I like
We're
it.
getting there. We're getting there.
Yes.
So.
2 more. DeMarini, Louisville, or Easton.
Well, Easton's got to be my starter, right?
Okay.
Okay.
That's the kid, right? So
Right,
no,
right.
but also in terms of like equipment, that kind of thing. I think I would bench the DeMarini and cut the sluggers.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
Last one.
Okay.
Got some movies for you.
All right.
Major League, Field of Dreams, A League of Their Own.
Oh, A League of Their Own is definitely going to be the starter.
Great movie. Great movie.
I'd cut Major League and bench. What was the other one?
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
think that was my
I
exact
think that was. You're the same,
Absolutely.
same wavelength there.
Absolutely. So, we want to thank Coach Adams for being here. Enjoyed getting to know you and getting to know your background and kind of seeing your philosophy of coaching. And really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. And we want to thank you for tuning in to Tailgate TV.
As people, we are in need first and foremost of a Savior. Though not nearly as much as a Savior, we are in need of community. Community to lift us up, to rejoice alongside, to weep with, and to be ministered to in whatever walk of life we are in. At Emmanuel Baptist Church, we are not the perfect church for the perfect person, but we are the church of the perfect Lamb of God, Jesus Christ. Verse by verse, book by book preaching, contemporary worship, and multiple generations under one roof. We hope you'll join us sometime at Emmanuel Baptist Church, 10 o'clock Sunday mornings, 801 West Dakota Street, Butler, Missouri.
Welcome back to Tailgate TV. We're joined by a friend of the show, Major Black. Major's an outdoor extraordinaire. He's going to talk to us about he's going to chat with us about some outdoor stuff. But Major's also going to chat with us about some Rich Hill sports as he broadcasts some Tigers ball games, and his son Clinton is involved with some athletics down there. So we're excited to talk some sports with you, Major.
All righty, glad to do it.
Well, we'll let Brad jump into the questions here.
Well, Major, something that you and I have in common. Love to morel mushroom hunt.
Definitely.
So good. And obviously, kind of the big thing for me is just being outside, right? You've been cooped up all winter.
Yes.
Now, here comes the morel mushrooms popping up out of the ground.
Bugs ain't quite out yet.
Snakes aren't quite out yet, right? They're trying, but not. It's great weather. Again, it's right there between golfing early in the year and playing morel going out there looking for morels. So tell us a little bit. I know that you do a great job every year getting out there and finding them. What kind of stuff are you looking for before, you start finding them? What kind of gets you out there?
Well, usually, you see the little May apples pop up, usually about a week, maybe two afterwards, and it seems like down south around Rich Hill and stuff where I hunt, we're usually about a week or so before you guys up here on the north side of Butler, just the slow warming.
Right, isn't that amazing, right? Just that short distance, because what are we from Rich Hill? 8, 10, 12 miles, something like that.
Most.
But that takes that many days for that earth to kind of warm up.
It really does. And it down in Stockton, that's about another week or two earlier yet.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of gauge it as it comes up the state there.
So, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, when you're looking for spots to go hunt, what makes a good spot? What kind of...
Well, I do a lot of hunting in the old strip pits down around Rich Hill and stuff. So you kind of want, especially the early time of the year, you want where it's getting the sun most of the day to heat that ground up, and you get it most of the day that way. So you'll find them in your east and west running pits earlier before your north and south usually. Stuff
Water for sure, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I've always heard that. Water, south-facing slopes, if you can find them, because of those two things you just mentioned. Sure.
Definitely. And then, as you get out in the woods, everybody has their own little knacks and stuff. Where I hunt a lot at, we have a lot of luck with your sycamore timber, your cottonwoods is another good one, and then I've had buddies say they have real good luck under cedar trees. We don't have many cedars down there, but the places where my best luck, honestly, is them old dead elm, right when they get ready to lose their bark before they come off.
Right.
And if you can get one of them big old grapevines running out of the top to where the morning dew drips down, you'll almost find a mushroom every place.
Is that right? I've never heard that. That's
the grapevines.
New insight.
That's some secrets right there.
It is. For some reason, the dead elm and the grapevines really mix.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
So I've also heard people talk about things that you carry them in. A lot of times people go with potato sacks, things like that, so the spores fall. Are you in that camp?
I just use the Walmart bag.
Yeah. Well,
Most of
No,
those
I
have
do.
holes in them anyway.
Yeah, by the time I'm done, it's I leave a couple in the woods as they fall out. But no, I just use that. But one thing I do always make sure just cut the stalk, don't uproot it or anything.
absolutely
like
right,
that.
right.
So-
You want to generate that for the next year.
Exactly, and that's really my main thing.
So have you found? I assume you've been this year. You found quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few.
Okay. What time are you cooking them?
I'm already positive there.
Well, and jumping back on that, so I've heard there's several ways that you can prepare morel mushrooms. What's your favorite way?
Well, I usually just mix the old batter, the egg and milk batter,
Okay.
and then the flour and all that. All kinds of seasonings. You throw a little Parmesan in with it too, and that makes it good to fry them up that way. Is usually
Well, where's our samples?
it's actually honestly about mine played out about a week ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, about the first week of turkey season, I can usually find them the first couple days I'm hunting, but by the end
They're shut down.
down where I hunt it is.
Yeah. Because I've heard, back on the recipe, I've heard people talk about, grinding up crackers, putting
Yes.
on them,
Yes,
and
you
then
can.
the flour. I prefer the flour. I
I
think
do
you can
too.
taste more of the mushroom,
You can.
and it doesn't quite, I don't know, it's just not as thick of a batter.
Yes.
I like that much
I
better.
do too, and I really like them littler mushrooms better. You get more flavor.
I
it
think you
seems
do.
Like too,
Yeah,
the
I
early
agree with you.
season ones.
So somebody like me, I'm going to show here that I've never been mushroom hunting.
Really?
So somebody like that's never been, but they're seeing this and they're, well, I want to go mushroom hunting now. I want to eat these. I want to try the crackers. What advice would you give to somebody wanting to go hunting for the first time?
Me personally, I would stay out of the oak timber. I think they have a lot of acid in the ground, and it don't seem like your mushrooms.
We don't want
do
those
as
acid
good.
mushrooms.
No.
What kind of mushroom?
That's a whole different
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But they don't seem to grow as good on, and that might just be where I've hunted. I don't know for sure, but
Well, you're the expert today.
well, I'd stay out of the oak timber.
Noted.
Yeah, one of the best meals I ever had was I found a bunch of morel mushrooms and had a bunch of crappie that we caught the night before and mixed them up.
The only thing that'll match is a good turkey.
Right? So moving off fishing and morel mushrooms, which is hard for me to do because I enjoy both those things a ton.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about Rich Hill Baseball, which this year has joined up with Hume.
Yes.
And don't know if they've done that too much, but obviously this year there were some things that came up, had to do that.
Yes.
How's that going?
First of all, great. I'm glad to see them partnering up because that way the boys get to play baseball. The Hume boys come over for football. I think it's a great deal. So that way the kids get every opportunity available that way. And baseball this year, it's been a struggle to say the least. Pitching every time. I mean, you get them games back to back, and I think they got 11 kids on the team, so that don't leave you much of a starting rotation.
That's tough.
It really is. And they've got a decent little team, just a few minor mistakes, and they see a lot of teams, even the pros, that one big inning, and it's kind of been their Achilles heel all year, but it ain't bad getting to play baseball. That's the main thing.
Right. Well, we talk about that all the time is, whether, and mainly it's basketball and baseball, right? Football, there's some things that are really instinctive. In basketball, you have to put minutes on the court. You have to see the ball go through the basket and handle the basketball to be better at it.
Sure.
Baseball is the same thing. The number of innings you play really is coincides with how good you can be.
Definitely, because it's just, with anything, really repetitive, doing it over and over.
Absolutely.
It's just second notion.
And with that too, I don't know, if you know the makeup of the team this year, do you have a lot of younger players? Do you have a lot of older players? Is it kind of a mix of both?
It's a pretty good mix, really. I think there's two, maybe three seniors.
Okay.
It's really about that average.
About average.
Yeah,
throughout.
it's really a pretty good mixture. So they got something to build on that
Yeah.
way. They're not top heavy with seniors or anything like that.
But they still have the senior leadership.
Yes,
It's a good, yeah.
definitely. So they've got things to build on down there, and
Okay.
the main thing, they just got baseball. That is the main thing. I mean,
And that's kind of a bridge over to summer baseball. I know you're coaching it again this year.
yes, I've been
And
coaching up here, but
got a good little group, right?
yeah, we got. I think I got 11 boys out this year, and I think we'll be good and competitive. So, last couple of years we've had really good teams. Went to the championship 2 years ago, fell to
Great.
Adrian, and then we took third down at Rich Hill last year. We got the pitchers duel, lost 2-1. So
Oh, hey.
Rich Hill had a good little pitcher.
Yeah,
So,
well, and again, 2-1. That's a good.
It
ball
was.
game.
It
Yeah.
was a good game. It really was. So we've been having good summer baseball turnout here in Butler. So
Good. Glad to hear that.
definitely.
I talked with, I believe, Damon Green. I think
Yeah.
he's the track coach out there.
Yep.
Talked to him a little bit kind of before track season got going and was talking to him about the number of kids.
Yeah, got a lot of kids.
I think they said
out
over
down there.
30-something kids or something,
Wow.
which I think is kind of part of maybe baseball's problem is just a lot of kids are going out for track this year.
Yeah, they've got
And-
a lot of good track stars.
Well, that's
down
I
there.
kind of asked him, what do you think has gotten that many kids out and running? And he said he thinks a lot of it is just maybe the history of Rich Hill having
yeah.
a good track program.
And-
Didn't know if you could talk any of what you've seen with track or some of the kids getting excited about it.
I think one thing he probably won't say, but I think they've got a really good coach that has put in a good program and they work on it. He's also, I think he does the PE, so they work on
No.
stuff like, and he gets them to lifting and jumping
So
and
important.
stuff. Exactly. So he's put in a good foundation down there, and it's just kind of build up from there, like you said, to build the
Well, he's been
past
there,
history, and
what,
now you
7
got the
years or-
numbers there. So, and very intelligent coach when it comes to track stuff. So they've really got a good one down there for 1A school.
We're going to catch you off guard with this ending segment. We got some fun questions.
All right.
And we're going to end with the would you rather. So I got 4 or 5 would you rather
Alrighty.
questions here. Would you rather have to hunt for everything you eat or eat only McDonald's for the rest of your life?
Oh, I'd rather hunt.
We thought that might be a quick answer.
Well,
We wanted to start you off with a cupcake.
yeah.
I've seen that deal where the guy ate McDonald's for 30 days.
I don't think it ended well for him.
Man.
Would you rather be a bowling champion or a curling champion?
I always kind of liked bowling.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I always kind of liked it.
I like bowling.
I took a class on it in college.
Well, and I'm kind of disappointed that has kind of went away from the
Yes.
mainstream. Almost every town when I grew up, almost every town had some kind of a bowling alley.
Bowling alley,
Now
yes.
there are few and far between, and
Yes.
that's a shame because
It
it's a
really
lot
is.
of fun,
And
and
it's
you do it for a lot of years.
And a cheap night. I
Hey,
mean,
Absolutely.
a lot of fun. Didn't cost you a lot. So,
Would you rather humans discover aliens or aliens discover humans?
boy, I don't know. We'll go with the humans. I'd rather like to know first.
Right? Very good.
Last question.
This is a good one.
Would you rather have front row seats at Yankee Stadium for a regular season game or nosebleed seats at Yankee Stadium for a World Series game?
Oh, I'd take the nosebleed.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
You really want to see them lose the World Series?
I don't know.
Have you ever seen him?
I have
Yankee
not.
Stadium?
No, not in.
I know you're a big Yankee
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
That's kind of where we were aiming that question.
But no, I'd rather catch postseason atmosphere in the Bronx. There's nothing like it.
Well, today on Tailgate TV, we'd like to thank Major for coming out. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everything you do around us. A good friend, and we appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy it, guys. I enjoyed it.
Welcome back to Tailgate TV, where we're going to end this show and every show with a fun little segment called Tailgate Picks, where me and Brad sit here and pick some of our favorite things. Brad, what are we picking today?
Today we're going to talk about the best sporting facilities that we've been to watch a high school sporting event. Could be baseball, basketball, football, whatever. So today we are picking the best sporting facilities. My number 3 pick.
I'm ready for this.
Well, first time I was ever in it, or had been to this facility, was this year. The Bears played there. It was the Blue Valley District Athletic Complex. I had the privilege of calling a game up there. Great facility. They did so many smart things.
Football game?
It was a football game. It was really nicely done. The press box had 2 sides to it. One, you could watch the softball or the soccer fields. The other one was the football field, and it was built 20 years ago. And I was really surprised. There's times when you look at things and you say, "Wow, they were really looking ahead." That complex was looking ahead. Great facility. Again, we won, so obviously it makes it a little sweeter, right? But yeah, that was my number 3 pick.
And where was that located? Do you know where it's at?
It is. It's over in Overland Park, or Olathe, kind
Okay.
of on that side. It's in Kansas, but right there, 150 turns into, I think, 35 over in Kansas, so it's on 35th Street.
Okay.
I believe that's what it is.
So anytime there's any local sports up there, we know where to find you.
Boy, that's a nice place. I really, really enjoyed that.
For my 3rd pick,
Yes.
I went with the facility that we go to often, and I know your favorite part of it is the drive to get there. I went with Buffalo, and I went particularly Buffalo for basketball.
Absolutely.
Now their gym, you talked about this gym being a little bit old. Buffalo's gym is a little bit dated. They could use some update, but I love the setup of it. They have tunnels, the locker rooms and whatnot are kind of dug out. You come through a tunnel to get in there, and it's got
Recessed floor.
It's got kind of a big game feel to it. So I enjoy the atmosphere, and that's why, if they update that in the next few years, that might jump up to number 2 or 1 on my list. But right now they sit at number 3 just because of the layout they have.
And it's a great pick. I love that facility. It kind of looks, it reminds me, again, I'm old. It reminds me of what they used to do with the old roller rinks when they had the little, because it's a recessed floor and then they have the bars around. I really like that too. It probably is number 4 on my list. We're not going that deep, but good pick there. For me, number 2.
What you got?
We have went up to the State Fair Community College to watch high school basketball during the holiday shootout. And
Okay.
I know the Bears have been there, I believe. Adrian's been there. I know Cole Camp's been there. Other schools that we play fairly often around have been there. Again, great facility to watch a game, great facility to call a game. I know the girls and the boys really enjoy playing up there. And again, you talk about that big game atmosphere, that brings it.
Absolutely.
Right? You can stand around on the upper level and watch the game, or you can go down and have a seat. Not a bad seat or vantage point in the whole place. Really nice facility.
Sight lines are good.
Yes.
My number 2 is just outside of Bates County,
Okay.
Archie. The Archie Dome, again, just thinking basketball on this in particular.
Right.
But the Archie Dome, and I know some other area schools now have done something similar.
Right.
But the Archie Dome, to me, we go up there every year for the Archie tournament and call a bunch of games up there. And not only do they have a great place for we're always thinking press box, we're always thinking, where are we going to sit and call games from, which they have a great spot for that.
Yes.
But the whole facility is nicely done.
It really is. And again, big game atmosphere, right?
Absolutely.
The facility's large. I
got a nice scoreboard hanging down.
Yeah, love that.
The Megatron-y, whatever, I don't know what you call those that they have.
Right. I really thought that I worried when I first saw it because it is so different than a lot of places we play that the shooting backgrounds may be different, but that has not been the case. They built that in such a way where you don't really see visiting teams coming in and struggling big time with the shooting. However, obviously a home field advantage for the Whirlwinds up there, and they do a great job on both on the boys and the girls side of putting together some good ball teams. My number one pick, and
Drum roll, please.
well, and I tell you, we said not local, I went not local.
Okay.
The Riverside Sports Complex in Riverside, California. I played baseball there when I was in high school.
Is this one of those nostalgia picks?
No. This was and still is, and again, that's been, I don't even want to tell you how many years ago that's been, but it will be updated today. It was a phenomenal facility. Had kind of a green monster in left field because right behind it was a street. So it went up pretty high, had nets above that, even to catch fly balls that were home runs, but into there.
Got net ever catching any of your balls?
Not left field. I hit from the left side, so I hit, I think, one home run to right field there. But dugouts, actually in the ground. Actually in the ground, not just on the ground level. And really did a good job of thinking about players. Bathroom inside the dugout, water fountain in the dugout. On the other end was I think they used a lot for equipment, but you could go in there if you needed to change or if you needed to, do something, you could go in that end of it. And it was a little bit cooler in there because it was all closed in and under the bleachers, so it was a little cooler. So if you got hot, you could go in there and kind of cool down a little bit.
Most dugouts I've seen do have bathrooms in the dugout. There's those 5-gallon buckets sitting all throughout the dugout.
Yeah.
Is that not what those are used?
No, that's the sunflower seed buckets are usually have sunflowers in them. But yeah, great facility. And I was just talking about kind of the amenities it had. The grass was super.
And it was grass.
Yes, absolutely grass. And then obviously the base paths and that kind of thing that were dirt kept really nice. Super job. Catching there was really nicely done because you didn't have a lot of holes. You see that a lot.
Absolutely.
Where they don't have enough clay in the dirt, right? You get a lot of powder. I know there's some places we go where somebody slides in and then you have this dust cloud. And not
I think
there.
there's still dust on your tablet.
Yeah, probably right. But great facility. I was so privileged and honored to play there. Got to go to tournaments there, and then not only as a player but as a fan, going there and watching some schools play. And that facility.
I think we should take a field trip out there.
I think that should be a great thing to do. At the time, there was, I believe, 8 high schools in Riverside, and all of them used that facility at least from time to time. Not every ball game, but a lot of them, and that was a lot of fun to just have a place to go to watch a good high school baseball game.
Absolutely. Well, you really kind of set the bar with your number one pick. I don't know if mine will compete.
Oh, you got it.
But I went basketball for 3 and 2.
What?
I went football for number 1.
Okay.
Lone Jack. And I tell you what really, because there's always one or two things that make a field memorable.
Absolutely.
And I tell you, for me, what made Lone Jack memorable is what they do, how they utilize their space. Not necessarily even the space they have, which they have great space.
Yes.
But how they utilize it. One thing they did up there that really struck me was they rent out their press box. And I remember we were sitting up there, and there was a room apart from us, and we get there, and we're like, so can we use this room to broadcast the game? We're like, well, actually, what we do is we rent this out to senior parents, and then we sell them or we take bids on them at the beginning of the year.
It's auctioned off.
And we, auction them off. And it's a fundraiser for the school. It helps the program, and it makes it a fun environment. You go up there, they had coffee makers, I think they had a popcorn machine, which we can't do without a popcorn machine.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, we talk about big game atmosphere. I mean, when you're sitting up there in a press box watching a high school game and you're in a little press box room, it really kind of gave it that fun environment to me.
It did.
And like I said, that goes without saying, too. The facilities themselves, the field is nice, everything's nice, and then that's just kind of the icing on the cake.
And I get nice chairs to sit in, a heater up there, Yeah, it was really, really nice. We were
jealous.
Yes.
That we were calling the game from this room over here. It was nice as well where they set the media, but it wasn't as nice as that room. And it's like, how much did they auction that off for? Because we might need to buy that next time Butler comes down here and we're calling a game.
Right. Yeah, that was really nice. Again, we talked about that even on the way home after the ball game. That was such a great thing for them. So, but I guess that will wrap up today's Tailgate Picks here on Tailgate TV. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again on the next Tailgate TV.
Dancing with the radio up, yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. Dancing with the radio up, yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back in a tailgate downtown. It's good to be back.